Hi, I'm Blake Alexander, and this is my Module 5, Understanding My Community for State Street Elementary School. Some known customs and traditions. So it says lifestyles shape social action. Here in the Oakland community that is located in Topeka, we are mostly made up of low-income families. Here, most people really value family and are pretty close-knit within the community. Some places that are really important in the community are the Catholic churches. Our Lady of Guadalupe does a lot of things in our community, and also Sacred Heart does, and they also have their own Catholic school. And then the Oakland United Methodist Church also does a lot in our community and does a lot for our school specifically. They provide clothes, have activities for the students every Friday morning, things like that. Also, we have a very rich Hispanic culture in the community, and it's just also a very old, established community that's been around for a really long time, has a lot of history behind it. It's right along the Kansas River, and pretty close to downtown Topeka. Knowledge affects policy and curriculum. The big thing that we know is that we have a growing Hispanic population in the Oakland area, and that's like the main thing that our schools kind of focus on right now is reaching students who are ELL. And then also how have the changes been handled? We've instituted more ELL staff, along with hiring teachers that speak both languages, but I think our school still has a long way to go. Most of our staff still are white and do not speak Spanish, and so it kind of gets hard to reach some of the kids that only know how to speak Spanish. And then some traditions for our neighborhood. A big one's the La Fiesta. It's a big festival. It happens every year. A lot of people in Topeka come to it. It's right in the Oakland neighborhood, and they have a lot of great food and raise a lot of money. And then there's also German Fest that's put on by another church in our neighborhood that a ton of people come to, and it's just a big celebration in Topeka. So some known population characteristics. So some of the, looking at the community, the education level of the members of the community, 35% have less than a high school degree, 25% had a high school degree, and then 18% had some college, 6% with a 2-year degree, 16% with a 4-year degree or higher. The main occupations in our neighborhood are sales, service, construction, and maintenance. Those are the three main ones. The population of the Oakland neighborhood is 5,024, and then the population of all of Topeka is 126,500. At State Street, we have just under 500 students, and at State Street, we have 39% of our students are white, 41% are Hispanic, and 8% are African American. The rest of our population is made up of other. And then also at State Street, 89% of our students are free and reduced lunch. So known community channels. The first one, we have the Oakland newsletter. It's put out by the leaders of the Oakland community that kind of just talk about things going on in the community. We also have churches who put out a lot of information and talk to a lot of the people in the neighborhood. And then as far as Topeka goes, we have our local news station. We also have our local newspaper. When it comes to State Street Elementary School, we use Facebook a lot, and we also put out a newsletter and emails to our parents and our students. And then foreign language impact is a lot of our parents do speak Spanish. And so what we do at our school is our newsletter comes out in both Spanish and English. But as far as Facebook and other things like that go, they're still only in English. Known community groups. We have the Oakland Neighborhood Improvement Association. They meet every third Monday, and they are the ones who put out the newsletters. Like I said before, we had churches at the school. We have PTO, and then we also have the community center where people get together and do things for the community and provide activities for people in the community and kids to do. Known leadership. In the Oakland community, like I said, there's churches. We also have the school principal, and then there's established members of the community. Oakland is a really kind of tight-knit community that's been around a long time, and there's people that have been here for a long time, and everybody knows them. So we have teachers at our school that grew up there, have taught there for a really long time, and now are teaching, people that they've taught kids, and everybody in the community kind of knows them, and I feel like they're really important members of our community. At the district level, we have the school board and the superintendent, who are the leaders for our district. At the building level, we have principals, and then we also have established teachers. And then at the city level, we have the city council members and the mayor. So known community leader characteristics. For the school districts, the big thing that we focus on is student first. Our superintendent, that's her main thing. That's how she wants all of our schools to be, our principals to be. So everything that we do, it's got to be how is it helping the students. Also, the leaders in our district, they seem to be very social. They like to talk to people, get to know people. They communicate very well, and they are the voice of our district. They share information. They try to bring people together. And then people in the community, their big thing is that they relay all the information. They're the organizers. They bring people together. They talk to them, and they're also just well known and have some influence over the people there. Known economic conditions. So this is for in Oakland, not in all of Topeka. The median household income is $37,852. The average home price is $64,824. And the majority of people are employed in service, sales, and construction and maintenance. In Oakland, 17% of the people are below the poverty level. And as far as transportation goes, most families have a single car, or they take the bus, or they walk. If you're walking around Oakland, you can see that it's mostly single-family homes, very small homes mostly, and they're kind of really close together. But it's also right on the edge of town, so on the edge you get some houses that have that are a little bigger and maybe have a little bit more space and are a little bit larger. So known political structure. Can we separate politics from education? I feel like this is never going to happen. The biggest reason is funding. State and federal funding both go into education, and as far as taxes and mills to get things built, all those things end up getting voted on through a city, and that's how the money gets spent there. So I think politics, when it comes to money, school is going to be related to politics in some way. I feel like what has to be limited is people pushing political agendas or other things like that. We still have to do what's best for our students. Also, our district is a large district, and when looking at the budget, it's kind of overwhelming. Money goes to 3 different high schools, 6 different middle schools, and I don't even know how many elementary schools. And so that it's a lot of money, and it goes a lot of places, and it's kind of crazy to look at. So on this, I included the budget at a glance, so you can click on that and take a look at how the money in our district has been spent over the last, I think, 3 years. So known social tensions. So first one, there are some social tensions with race. We've had some police shootings lately that brought Black Lives Matter to Topeka. That didn't happen too far from our neighborhood. We also have the Westboro Baptist Church that's been involved in a lot of news and stuff, but that's died down a lot over the last few years. And then we do have a high drug and crime rate compared to the rest of Kansas, and I know that brings some tension to the people that live here, the people that want to feel safe and want don't want that drug and that crime rate in the city that they live in. So extra sources of information. The first one I included was the State Street website. There's also the KSD report card of our school that shows how we scored on tests and kind of the makeup of our school. There's also the board minutes, where you can click on that and see the board minutes for the entire district. And then there is the city council website, where you can look on there to see things that are going on in our city and what our city council is doing. So power structures, when it comes to education, we have a school board, and our district's a little bit different than a lot of districts just because of the size of it. So we have a few positions that a lot won't have. We have the school board, the superintendent are at the top. Under them we have some assistant superintendents that have specific jobs, whether it be with one with the finance and one with curriculum. Then we have district principals, so we have people that are like the head of elementary education. We have one that's the head of secondary education, that's specify, in certain areas that they work with. And then you get to the building administrators. Most schools have a principal, an assistant principal, and a dean of student. The larger schools do. And then below them are the certified instructors, the classified instructors, and then we also have the students. Known multicultural issues. I think the biggest one is just the diverse students that we have here in Topeka. We have people from all over, lots of different language, a lot of different cultures. So that's just an issue that we're always dealing with. Graduation rate by race. We just had a big in-service on this at the beginning of the year about why are students of some races not achieving as well as students from other races. I know our African American student graduation rate is much lower than students of other races, so that's a big issue in our district right now. We also have a growing Hispanic culture and language, and that just causes our school to think of how we can work with that. And at the same time, we're seeing schools that are becoming mostly Hispanic, or schools that are becoming mostly white or mostly African American, and that's an issue in our school. And we want the diversity, and we want everybody to experience it. And we don't really, and right now we're having neighborhoods kind of match up by race, and that's kind of becoming an issue here in Topeka. And then also we have how do we weave the culture into the school? And I think the biggest thing is that we just accept it. I know we've included a lot of extra EDL teachers and things like that, and we also have dual language schools. We have a couple schools where half the day they learn in English, half the day they learn in Spanish, and that allows people who don't speak Spanish to also learn Spanish, and the people who don't know English to learn English. And that's the goals of those schools. And I think we need to work on having a more diverse staff. If you look at our staff population, it doesn't always represent all of the different cultures and all of the different races that we have here in Topeka. So measuring public opinion and surveys. So how do people feel about our district? When I talk to people outside of our district, or when I took this job here, I got a lot of negative responses. People tend to have a negative idea of our district and our school and our students. And that really bothers me, especially here in Topeka. We have a lot of different high schools. I think 7, and 3 of them are within USD 501, which is where my school's at. And just hearing people outside of our district in the suburbs of Topeka talk about 501, it's usually negatively. You don't hear a lot of positive things coming from them. But when I talk with people inside the district, they have a positive but realistic opinions. They understand that our school isn't, like the schools around us. They know that we have different student body. We have different socioeconomic issues, and that's kind of like when you talk to people they're realistic about it. They understand what's there. They understand how to work with it. They know that it's not going to be the exact same as somewhere else, and that's kind of the opinion I get from most people I talk to within the district. And then it says, tell what should be done to increase public understanding. I think the biggest thing is to get people involved, get people who don't always see inside the school to come into the school and see it. So having events that bring people in is a great idea, and also be an advocate for our students. When people say things about that, I tell them we have great students. And then when it comes to surveys, we have required surveys that parents take at the beginning of the year. We also have them that teachers take at the beginning of the year. That go to our district. I haven't seen the results of these surveys. I think they keep it within, but I know that we take surveys for parents and also teachers, just for morale and public opinion of the school. And that's my presentation. Thank you.